Welcome, goddesses, creatrixes, light workers, healers, medicine women, medicine people. Welcome to your portal of expansion. Welcome from your womb cocoon into your metamorphosis today. I'm your host, Allie McPhee of Modern Goddess Lifestyle, and I am stoked, ecstatic, elated to be here serving these codes for all of you queens so that you can rise into your dharma with ease. So before we get started with the transmission today, the hot seat, the ritual, we're going to start off with some embodiment, right? Because when we're offering our work to the world, it is an inner frequency as to which we are creating from. That frequency itself magnetizes our soulmate clients, allows us to expand in a space that feels authentic, that feels delicious. And so I'm going to invite you all to stand up, or, if you're feeling moony, maybe you're on your menstrual cycle, to just allow yourself to come into your body. And we're going to start off with some dancing. All right. You want to shake your hips a little bit.
Dollars, I like diamonds, I like stunning, I like shining, I like $1 million deals. Where's my pen? Bitch, I'm signing. I like those Balenciagas, the ones that look like socks. I like going to the Tula, I put rocks all in my watch. I like texts from my exes when they want a second chance. I like proving niggas wrong, I do what they say I can't. They call me Cardi, Cardi, banging body, spicy mommy, hot tamale, hotter than a Somali. Virgo, Ferrari, hop up the stoop, jump in the coupe. Big dip on top of the roof, flexing on bitches as hard as I can. Eating halal, driving a lamb. So that bitch, I'm sorry though. Got my coins like Mario. Yeah, they call me Cardi B. I run this shit like cardio. I'm in district in the chain. Certified, you know I'm gang, 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 gang. Drop the top and blow the brand. Oh, he's so handsome, what's his name?
Chambean pero no jalan. Tú compras todas las Jolambo, a mí me las regalan. I spend in the club, what you have in the bank. This is the new religion bank, el Latino gang. Yeah, trato de hacer dieta, pero es que en el closet tengo mucha grasa. Ya mudé la Gucci pa' dentro de casa, yeah. Cabrón, a ti no te conocen ni en plaza. El diablo me llama, pero Jesucristo me abraza. Guerrero como Eddie, que viva la raza, yeah. Me gustan boricua, me gustan cubana. Me gusta el acento de la colombiana. Como me ve el culo la dominicana. Lo rico que me chinga la venezolana. Andamos activos, perico, pim, pim. Billetes de 100 en el maletín. Que retumbe el bajo y Valentín, yeah. Aquí prohibido amar, dile charitín. Que per pico le tengo claritín. Yo llego a la disco y se forma el motín.
Diamond District in the chain. Certified, you know I'm gang, 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 gang. Drop the top and blow the brand. Oh, he's so handsome, what's his name? Oh, I need the dollars to beat it up like piñata. Tell the job to close the curtains. That bitch make you nervous.
Como Celia Cruz tengo el azúcar. Tú que va medio y se fue de pecho como Ginny Luca. Te vamos a tumbar la peluca y arranca pa'l carajo, cabrón, que a ti no te va a pasar la boca. Mi tenis y Valenciaga me reciben en la entrada. Sí, like I'm Lady Gaga. Y no te me hagas, que en cover de Billboard tú has visto mi cara. No salgo de tu mente, donde quiera que viajes, he escuchado mi gente. Ya no soy high, soy como el testarosa. Soy el que se la vive y también el que la goza. Cosa, es la cosa, mami es la cosa. El que mira sufre y el que toca goza. I said I like it like that.
I said I like it like that.
I said I like it like that.
I said I like it like that. I'm a district in the chain. Certified, you know I'm gang. Drop the top and blow the brand. Oh, he's so handsome, what's his name? Yeah.
All right, how's everybody feeling? Can everyone hear me okay? Is there a scratchy sound? Can you hear me?
He'll picture this and send it to his Gmail account.
Okay, I think, there we go. Okay, goddesses. So, hey, Georgia, my love, I'm going to make you the co-host. So if you need to mute somebody, I'm going to put you on that task. Thank you so much. Everyone, this is Georgia, my co-creatrix here, assistant with Modern Goddess Lifestyle. Couldn't do it without you, babe. You're my pillar. So, all right. Welcome everybody to Metamorphosis. Oh my goddess. I believe I recognize most of you all here, and I bet a lot of you recognize each other as well. Awesome, awesome. So I'm going to ask that you introduce yourself into the chat box. If you want to share your name, your pronouns, where you're located, and why you're here. What's your intention for Metamorphosis today? And we have a few more people probably popping on here in the next 2 hours. This is going to be a 2-hour masterclass. In fact, some of our hot seat people aren't here yet, so I imagine they'll pop on later. I'll bring up the chat box. What is that first song? So I actually made a Metamorphosis Spotify playlist. And so I'm going to be sharing that with you all. In fact, I'm just going to share it here while you write down your intentions. All right, so you can listen to the Spotify playlist. Everything in this universe is just light, sound, frequency. So everything that is being transferred here, everything that is being felt, if you ever find yourself feeling misaligned with what you just received today, I invite you to open up this Spotify playlist again and listen to it. Let it activate you, dance to it, allow it to recode your system, reawaken your system. All right, so I just put it in the chat box. Gabby is here. Hi, Gabby from Austria. You had to wake up really early, didn't you? Pronouns she, her, excited to learn and flow. Beautiful. Madurai. Mount Shasta. I'm here tonight because I just had a big launch last month for my first online program, Radiant Me, and it's such an inner journey. I know, babe. I've been witnessing you. I actually shared a little bit about your journey with the JFL certification a couple days ago, or yesterday actually it was. I'm just so proud of you. You are so magnetic. Gabby, 2 a.m. Yeah, babe. I so honor your devotion and your commitment to being here today. Sage, hi, beauty. Vermont, I am here to support me in birthing my business in the next few weeks. Beautiful. Excited for you to do that, babe. Long time coming. Mallory, Asheville. Yeah, you finally moved, girl. I'm intending to receive these codes. I'm in the middle of my first launch and so excited to receive this wisdom around how to alchemize doubt and stress in the launch process. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to let you all continue to introduce yourself in the chat, and we are going to move forward. Okay. All right. So everyone can see the PowerPoint. Give me a thumbs up if you can. Yes. Great. So today we're diving deep into our metamorphosis, which I imagine a lot of you probably have felt at the end of 2021, there was a deep cocooning going on. And at the start of this year, a lot of us have acknowledged that we've been feeling a lot of pressure at the beginning of this year, which I just believe is a symbolic, just a symbol of that energy within you that's been going through this internal expansion. Now you're ready to rise. And the truth is, if we allow scarcity, doubt, paralysis, imposter syndrome, fear of the unknown, fear of failure, all of these things that can come up in entrepreneurship, and it happens to the best of us, right? If we let that be the voice in our head that guides our actions, then we're blocking our ability to fully serve the clients, the people in this world that are truly here to receive this up-leveling journey, okay? So there is more light on this planet than there ever was. With all the solar flares, there's a lot of light hitting the earth. And what this is causing is a global awakening, and you all feel it, right? All of us know that we're headed into 5D. All of us are light workers on a mission. That's why we're doing what we're doing, is to serve the collective expansion. And so as this more and more light is hitting the planet, it's illuminating and increasing the shadows. So we're experiencing a lot of intensity within the shadow realm right now, a lot of fear that people are meeting around body sovereignty, their health, their finances, their career, their identity, who they are. People are experiencing loss of loved ones that are suddenly leaving the planet. It is a big time, and a lot of people who may not be aware of the alternative healing modalities are experiencing a lot of pain and are waking up and thinking, these old structures, this 9-to-5 job, these health practices from my doctor, this isn't working anymore. This isn't making sense anymore for me. And so they're looking for guidance. And that's why we're here. We need you in your full power, offering your medicine. And so as the collective is waking up, so are you too. The person that you have known yourself to be, the way that you've been serving or desiring to serve, this is expanding as well. You're going through your own initiation as these light frequencies are also hitting you, and you're meeting the collective and preparing yourself to expand your capacity to serve as well as your capacity to receive. And so as you go through this expansion, there can be some growing pains, of course, right? When we're expanding, it's like, oh my gosh, the version of myself that maybe was working, that I've felt secure with, or maybe even attached to, is suddenly starting to dissolve. My own structures of the way I deliver my message, the relationships in my life, the way that I connect to my spirituality, suddenly everything starts shifting within you as well. And that's the beauty of this, right? We can expand with ease. We can expand and surrender. It doesn't have to be so hard. The holding can get quite sticky. And so I'm going to be sharing with you all a really beautiful ritual that you can use directly when you are launching, when you are marketing, and before you're making sales calls, to really help you meet those places where those voices come up strong. I'm not good enough. I'm an imposter. Who am I? I doubt my ability. I'm afraid that I won't meet my financial means, right? Like when that comes up, this is our biggest chance to meet ourselves, right? And to transmute a lot. And so I'm going to be giving you all a ritual today where we get to experience this on call together. And my wish is that you continue working with this over and over and over again in your own way, so that you don't feel alone when you're launching. You don't get stuck. You don't let those illusions take over your ability to really show up and shine and serve those who need your help. So today's webinar flow, I'm going to share a little bit about my story and why I'm passionate about this, why I'm even offering this masterclass, the energetics of launching and how it relates to an actual medicine ceremony. We're going to have a hot seat where I'm going to be answering some live questions on call, which I've taken several of them ahead of time. And I
fully believe that they're going to support everyone here. They're common questions that a lot of us go through. We're going to be going through an embodiment ritual for deep activation. And then we're going to talk about some ways we can expand further. So I just want to make sure, is my audio still okay? Georgia, just checking in if you're muting anyone incoming. Okay, cool. Thank you. Awesome. There we go. Yay, Mahina's here. Awesome. Okay, so first I wanted to just introduce myself. Most of you know me. If you don't know me from being in any of my courses or Modern Goddess Lifestyle courses, then you probably know me from social media because I'm pretty active there. So I'm just going to introduce myself briefly and share why I even decided to host this masterclass. So my name is Allie McPhee. I'm a women's health and embodiment coach and also a trained tantric practitioner. Also, there's a long list of stuff that I do, but hello, I'm the owner of Modern Goddess Lifestyle. I love supporting goddesses in liberation with their womb, with their yoni, rituals that liberate the feminine, essentially, so that you can rise into all the creative possibilities that are truly meant for your soul's expression in this lifetime. And so the reason why it's a long time coming for me to host this masterclass. And honestly, it's been a medicine journey for me, which I want to share with you all as soon as you get impregnated with the idea for your course, for your ceremony, for your masterclass that you're going to host, whether it's in person, online, or at a retreat. And the moment you commit and say yes, you're in the journey. You're going to start having activations. You think you know the material, you think you're embodied in it. It's the spiral path. We're always coming back around with higher states of consciousness to review and go through previous activations, just rewriting the story. So by that, what I'm saying is it's been a long journey for me in meeting this part of myself that always comes up when I'm launching, that always comes up when I'm marketing, no matter like my first launch to my 15th launch, there's always a part that I get to meet myself. And I finally felt like I mastered it last round. And of course, now offering this masterclass, I got to meet even new parts of myself in hosting this 2-hour masterclass. And so I wanted to share that with you because the moment you commit, you'll start the medicine journey. You think you're embodied in something, there's deeper activations coming on in. And as space holders, as medicine people, those committed to expansion, we're essentially expanding our capacity to hold space. Our clients are going to be having a lot of energy, a lot of frequencies that are coming through to transmute. And so when you're doing your own work, when you're meeting your own triggers and your traumas, you're essentially allowing that energy to move through your body so that you can hold space for those clients, that you don't get triggered by their triggers and freeze and have your own reactions come up. And ultimately, this isn't about you. This isn't about me. This is our connection to source, right? We're just one human being. We can't hold everyone. We can't fix everyone, right? But we can provide guidance. We can share the ceremony. We can align with source frequency to help that person transmute so that they can truly feel safe and held to dive deep into their own medicine person and do the inner work with their connection to source. And collectively, we all transmute together. So I just want to remind you, if you don't have to hold it, it is not up to you to solve your clients' problems, okay? This is an inner journey that they're going through. You can provide the resources, you can hold the space, and you can help them trust and go deep within to go through their own inner metamorphosis. So you get to let go, right? And that really, I feel like, helps with canceling out the whole imposter syndrome thing. Oftentimes, imposter syndrome can be activated from a deep level of control and perfectionism and martyring too, thinking that it's all up to us, that we have to do it all by ourselves, right? We can let the holding go. We can align with source. The creator itself is here to guide us. When we let go, then the divine can do the work through us as the vessel. So for me, it's been a long journey. The first masterclass, actually, it was a 3-week program. It was called New Year Sexy You. I used to focus deeply on nutrition and menstrual cycle education and sensual embodiment practices. And so in 2017, I hosted my first 3-week masterclass at the beginning of January. So I was like a wannabe online entrepreneur for a couple years, actually. When I resigned from the head chef position at a plant-based restaurant that I helped co-open, it was an exhausting job. I had 2-week-long menstrual cycles at that time in my life. I realized that I wanted to, through my own health journey, as I healed my own body from my menstrual health issues, I realized that I wanted to take this wisdom to the world, right? I'm like, I'm going to go online, and there's all of these sponsored ads and these influencers telling me that I can go to like 0 to 1 million, and I'm going to do it, right? I was like so fueled up, so passionate, like, let's go. I believe in manifestation. And there was a lot that I had to learn on that journey. And so when I built my first course, I was surprised at the attendance. I actually charged very little. It was like $33 for a whole 3-week course offering, but I had 33 people join. And before I had built my online presence, I was very active in the community of Indianapolis, Indiana. And I was the head chef of a plant-based restaurant. Prior to that, I owned a private chefing business, Juice Cleanse Delivery. And I taught cooking classes, wellness classes. And then after I left the restaurant, I continued teaching classes around women's menstrual health education with food and nutrition. So anytime I taught a class or led a workshop or was part of a large event, I partnered with a lot of yoga studios, meditation places, restaurants, and I would collaborate. I would always bring a newsletter list, ask people if they wanted to join the newsletter. And oftentimes I would give somebody a prize at the end of my workshops. And so that actually was really effective because I got an opportunity to speak twice at the Oregon Eclipse Festival back in 2018, the Global Eclipse Festival. And I had 200 to 250 people come to each of my classes. And I invited them to join my mailing list, letting them know that I would choose a winner and give them a prize. And so that is a great way to start building your audience locally where you're at, because those personal relationships that you have with people face to face does build trust right away. And so I would recommend wherever you're at, connect with your local community. And so that's actually how I had a foundation before I started on the online space. And when I first opened my program, New Year Sexy You, I had 33 people join at $33. And that actually gave me a lot of momentum. Like, okay, I can do this thing. People really care. This is exciting. And so then I created my next program several months later. This was at the peak of my Saturn return, the dates that my astrologist predicted. And I literally spent, I think, 1.5 to 2 months straight, like creating all the PowerPoints, doing all the recordings, getting all the PDFs, putting it on the platform, having my designer design this user-friendly space with a password. So ready to go. And I launched it, not really knowing what that meant, meaning I did the same thing I did last time. I put it out to my newsletter. And I think I had about 10 people join. And then after that, crickets. And then I got the call from Spirit to start traveling. In fact, I didn't even realize that there were conscious music festivals. I used to be a huge festival girl. I honestly don't know how I completed college. I went to school in Indiana, but I was on the road a lot, going to festival to festival, but it was very detrimental to my health in some ways. So I took an 8-year break from that. And then I remember after I'd created my first online program, I suddenly was impregnated with this idea that maybe there are festivals out there that have yoga and meditation and health food, and maybe they would want me as a wellness instructor. And so I found online that there are all these conscious music festivals. I applied to them and I was having a breakdown at this time, crying, talking to my little brother, like, am I meant for this? Like, no one just signed up for my online course. It was crickets. Like, I thought, I spent years studying online entrepreneurship. I failed. This is not meant for me. I made it about me, right? I'm like, what's wrong with me? I'm an imposter. I'm not good at my job. Nobody's signing up. Therefore, I'm a fraud, right? Like, I made it about me. And I found all these conscious music festivals that night. A lot of them ended up getting back to me immediately, one even that night. And I ended up going on the road that summer. And there were a lot of synchronistic events that I'm not going to get into, but just wanting to say, like, once you commit and step further into your soul's dharma, even if you don't know how it's going to look, even if you don't have the money fully, even if you don't know how the hell you're going to get to this music festival across the country, if you're in alignment with your soul's purpose and you're serving from a heart-based place and you're giving what you're meant here to do, spirit will align the steps along the journey. It will unfold. Okay. So yeah, once I got on that path and went through this whole expansion, started teaching, receiving larger audiences, I still had the unconscious limiting beliefs. In fact, I was terrified of telling people the number of how much my program cost, which, by the way, it was $111 back then. Okay. Now I'm charging thousands of dollars, like 5 figures at a time or more. And I was terrified. And guess what happened, right? People were so excited by my enthusiasm. They resonated with what the program had to offer. When I told them the price, I was so terrified that they heard that price and they were also like, whoa, that's way too much. I could never do that. I could never afford it. It's not now. And I truly believe that sales is a transfer of energy, right? My own doubt, my own money story completely distorted the energy that I was offering to them. Even though this was an amazing program with more than enough value than what the price was listed at, the frequency that I was transferring to them was of, it's not going to work. I don't believe in this. I can't hold you. I can't hold this program, right? And so I'm going to get a bit deeper into that in a little bit. We're going to talk more about that today. But I just wanted to share with you all is that, wherever you're at on the journey, this is something that can come up for a lot of us, especially when we're up leveling, when we're expanding our offerings, when we've gone through initiation and our dharma is changing. I've had so many initiations where I went from menstrual health coach to tantrika to opening up a leadership academy. Okay. There's been so many death and rebirth journeys throughout my business. And I gave myself permission to go through those initiation callings. However, it's scary, right? When you're going into the unknown and you're offering something, you're raising your prices, you're offering new material with an expansion that you just went through, there's always that unease. And that's the beautiful thing is if it's uneasy, if you feel that fear, it means you're growing. That's a good thing. It's a sign that you're expanding. It's like, okay, this is my next edge. And so I'm sharing this masterclass with you all today because obviously that girl who I was before, who froze at even stating a $111 price point program, is not the woman that I am today. And I can so relate to that. In fact, that initial phases around communicating my prices, sharing my offerings, launching my programs, because it was so intense within me and I hadn't really dealt with that energetic, that years later, that trauma within my business, which, by the way, your business can have trauma that you can clear. So that was one of the fundamental traumas within my business. But I got to meet that over and over and over again as I continued launching. Even though I had done so much work, even though I had many testimonials, many clients who went through deep experiences, you would think that I would believe that that program worked because it did. But once I got into those launching phases, that trauma, that scarcity, that imposter syndrome, that doubt that I had felt in my initial phases of launches, that business trauma came back up. And I didn't realize what it was. And now I do. Okay. And so we're all going to have different experiences. Maybe your pattern of your, experience with business trauma is fight or flight, right? And then you get overwhelmed and then you go into overdrive. I'm not doing enough. So I need to make more sales calls. I need to do this. I need to do that. And then you get out of your body. You get out of your feminine receptivity. You can't receive. You're blocking yourself with all the doing. People can't actually get to you. That could be one of your trauma responses, or it could be the paralysis, the freeze, right? Because there can either be fight or flight, or there can be freeze. So maybe you go to share your message with the world, you're so expanded, excited, and then when you meet the activation point, you freeze, and then you stop, and then you make up stories like, oh, maybe now's not the time. Maybe the collective is going through too much, and like people don't have money right now to buy, and like, I don't think that I could really do this. I'm about to start my period, or I'm about to like go on this thing, or we create stories, right? Which, by the way, like the menstrual cycle is a medicine journey in itself. And I like to take time off when I bleed, but sometimes things just happen where I bleed. For example, I bled. I started bleeding the opening ceremony of the Expand and Receive challenge that I held for 1,000 people last August. Literally the opening ceremony, my moon drops when I'm on call, and I'm like, great. This is when maybe my energy is a bit lower, and I'm going to take care of myself really well during these 5 days that I'm hosting this large event. But I know that my bleed is showing up for a reason. I know that when I'm bleeding, my right and my left hemispheres of my brain are more synced, and that I am deeply aligned with source. So of course I'm bleeding right now. This is powerful, right? That's an acceptance. That's an embracing the cycle of where I'm at, rather than like, oh, I wish I was ovulating, or oh, the menstrual cycle is such a curse, right? Society tries to program with that with us from a very young age. I believe it blocks women's power, our birthing capabilities. When we're able to accept where we're at and trust the alignment of what's going on in the now, then we're not rejecting a part of ourselves. We can't birth when we're not in full union, right? If we're rejecting something, then we're shutting down the magic that's there, the possibility of that magic, that flower blossoming in the moment. And so acceptance, surrender and acceptance in the moment of what's going on, trusting it, is how we can unfold with grace. And so that's my story. That's why I'm so passionate about it. I can so relate to anyone who meets this launch trauma, business residue trauma, whether you're new at this or you're a seasoned business owner and you've launched many times. We can go through these activations over and over and over again, which, before I get into the energetics of launching and relating it to a medicine journey, I want to learn a little bit more about all of you. So, okay, if you would like to share who you are in the chat, I want the community to know you. I want this experience of us all together to feel like we are a united source of energy, right? Because I really do believe we all, if you distill it down to a common denominator, we all have the same mission in life, right? It's union through love. And so we're here for the collective liberation. But as our souls have unique purposes based off of our own experiences in life, maybe it's a healing alchemy journey you went through, or an experience you held space for somebody else, and spirit guided you into knowing that this is my purpose, this is my passion, this is my medicine to give the world. We all have different expressions as how we are serving the collective in that. So if you'd like to share in the chat box what your title is, maybe you have a business title that you're going by, and maybe if you are transforming right now, maybe if you're in a metamorphosis where you were a hormone balancing coach, but now you've just went through these initiations and these new certifications, and you want to call yourself something different, I invite you to embrace the new, embrace what's alive for you. And so, yeah, in the chat box, write what you call yourself or what you do. And then I invite you to put your social media handle, whether you're hot on Instagram or TikTok or wherever it is that you like to gather. I invite you to share that as well, because I want us all to feel like we have each other here as a community. All right. This is a like-minded, empowered community. I personally know a lot of you, and I'm here to tell you all that y'all are doing big things in this world. Okay. I've seen the mastery as to which you show up for on a regular basis, doing the inner work, aligning with your purpose, bringing this to your community, to your family. And so I want you all to know each other. Okay, where is that chat box? Let's see. All right. Yeah, pricing is hard. We've got a question around pricing today, Moderate, so we're going to go deeper into that. Mallory, women's empowerment leader. Oh, and yes, you are. Instagram, Moonhawk Wisdom. Yep. Gabrielle, holistic mentor for energy conscious feminine healers. So yeah, as y'all are sharing yourself with this community, I invite you to pull out your phone during this call or take a screenshot of who is here. If you see somebody sharing that you particularly feel a resonance with, I believe that soul connections are made even in master classes like this. In fact, I've made a lot of connections in master classes. I was one of them big recently. I was on Lizzie Jeff's Sex, Money, Miracles, Mushrooms masterclass. I was a guest speaker. She had a lot of amazing dope speakers that night, and I connected with Verita, the fairy brand mother, who's now like a close ally of mine, and just hosted a workshop in the Juicy Feminine Leadership certification. So if you have a personal connection with somebody here on this call, like there's a resonance, there's something there that's magnetic, this could be a potential opportunity for you. Yay. Sage, psychic medium, somatic sonic energy worker. I've got to receive some of those sonic codes. Kenya, breath worker, doula, natural builder, emotional liberation angel. Mahina, the Moo channel, in service of Mama Kauai, the womb of the universe. Fuck yeah, you are, my love. Fuck yeah, you are. I've got to experience that firsthand. Sabrina from California, living in New York, breastfeeding my newborn. Oh, babe, so much. Congratulations. Sensual arts guide and yoni steam therapist. Okay, y'all, Sabrina, if you don't know her yet, please do. She is the creator of Sacred Lotus Yoni Steam, which we have collaborated together to create the Modern Goddess, the Juicy Modern Goddess blend that is part of the Juicy Feminine Leadership Online Academy that I mail out to everyone. So I know a lot of people on this call have steamed their pussies with your blend, Sabrina, and we're like forever in gratitude for you, for your healing medicinal herbs. A lot of them come locally grown in Colorado. From local farmers. Okay, Shannon, currently director of cybersecurity and manifestation goal security consulting and holistic healer for souls and businesses. Yum. Donica, priestess of divine nourishment, holistic health. Irisha, prosperity and money mentor, priestess and dragon initiate. Yum. Madara is here. Gabby does energy healing with Sakem. Ooh, sound and womb healing. Diana, goddess tax strategy. Yes, you are. You're about to help me expand deep with my bookkeeping and taxes this year. Okay. Yeah, Madurai priestess, yogi, devotion. Artist, creatrix, embodiment, alchemist. Sound healing. I want to hear. Own that, please. Talk about it more. Okay. And Georgia's in deep metamorphosis of what my title will become. Awesome. Okay. It says my internet's a little unstable. Can you all still hear me? Yes? Am I okay? You can hear me? Okay. Cool. So as you can see, there are tons of badasses here. the path who you feel magnetically attracted to. All right, I'm back. Can you see me? Okay. Y'all, this internet these days, I just moved into a new house. So there's some kinks being worked out. Thank you for your patience with me. We're going to take this class as a medicine journey. Okay, so, all right, the energetics of launching and marketing as a medicine journey. So if you'd like to share, I'm not going to tell anyone, but if you want to share here in our private Zoom, does anyone like plant medicine? Has anyone done plant medicine before? Yeah. All right. Did anyone end up microdosing for this call? Because we're going to do a ritual in a little bit. And so we're going to have a moment to meet the energies that are coming up within you. And microdosing can be, there's so many different ways to microdose. Even with plant medicine, working with cacao too is a microdose. Cacao can be pretty subtle, right? It doesn't make you start hallucinating, but it can still deeply work at the heart chakra. And so that's a medicine that I like to work with pretty frequently, as well as kava. Kava is really nice. It actually grows locally in Kauai. And yeah, there's a number of medicines that I work with for my nervous system and for my heart and for my mental activity, as well as there's some more potent medicines that I like to work with as well, such as microdosing with psilocybin and hape with the white rose. There's a priestess that visited here on island who has a really incredible blend, and that's something that I'll work with when I just can't get to it. Like, what is this thing that I can't feel? And hape with the tobacco is very grounding. And with the white rose, the white rose holds the codes of innocence, bringing back to that purity of love, that deep sensual innocence, that remembering of our connection to our body with source. And so that is something that I'll work with to really meet those parts of myself that might be inaccessible. And in fact, I carried hape with me throughout the last 2 times that I visited my family in the Midwest, which I believe, going back to your birth home, if you've been away from it for a while, or you're having a huge family gathering, there's so many codes there about your root system and the times that you find yourself reacting or, avoiding or hiding from your family. This is the biggest chance to truly ask yourself, what is coming up? What emotionally am I here to process? Am I taking on my family's karma like a sponge? And how can I come back to unity and love? And so hape has been a huge teacher for me in working with my family. I often use that because I'm here to connect with them. I'm here to understand my root structure. I'm here to give back, not hide away like I did in my teenage years, which is my trauma. That's my habit, my reoccurring pattern. So anyways, and then obviously this photo, this is with the Honey Queen tribe. They came to Kauai right when I was launching Juicy Feminine Leadership. So I actually did several larger plant medicine ceremonies right during JFL, which was deeply helpful. This is me receiving hape. Also did a combo ceremony. So, you know, maybe you're not interested in lots of medicine, but you'll understand what I'm about to take you through these steps if you've ever done a medicine journey. And if you haven't, I'm not promoting that you need to go do a medicine journey to understand the sequence of this, because let's face it, life itself is a medicine journey. If you're living, you're constantly having the opportunities to expand, to contract and expand, contract and expand. Okay. So life is a journey into deeper union. Life is a union of remembering our connection to source and activating our purpose, giving and receiving and sharing what we're here to do, contributing. And so life is a medicine journey. And if you're an entrepreneur, I believe that this is a accelerated path to enlightenment, because if your business isn't working, you got to look within. Okay. And so here are some energetics of launching and marketing as a medicine journey. So when you initially become impregnated with the idea of what you want to offer, typically it comes from a life experience that you had where there was a challenge, there was pain, there was, you know, some sort of experience where you personally yourself went through a liberation and transcended into a new plane of consciousness and freedom within your system. Or you experience this witnessing somebody else and supporting them through it. And your soul knows that you are here embodied in those codes. You have gone through that activation yourself. And so you're here to support and give. And so once you get impregnated with this idea and you say yes, the ceremony begins. Okay, the activations start coming. So it's really important to be grounded. And so if you've ever been to a medicine journey, a medicine ceremony, you've done ayahuasca in the jungle, you've gone to a hape ceremony with the Ahuna Queen or whatever it is that you've done, you'll know that there is the opening ceremony. There's the intention. Why am I here? Right? When we do medicine, if we're using it unconsciously, it's going to still bring stuff up to the surface, but it will be confusing. The more that you're rooted in yourself and your why, that guides the energetics of the whole ceremony and deepens you into yourself and what you're here to understand and transmute and rise up from. And so create your intention. And I believe with everything in life, when you're offering your work to the world, it's a sacred energy exchange, also known as sex, right? Like we're all just love making with the universe if you really look at it that way, because we're all one energy, like sharing codes with each other. So this is a sacred energy exchange. So the moment that you commit to whatever container you're holding, whether you're teaching a masterclass, offering a retreat, hosting a ceremony, what is the intention? Okay. And what are the energetics that you are bringing to this? Because if you're not rooted in your intention, you're going to be bringing doubt and overwhelm into this space. And so that's the first step, is to get really clear. And to more deeply connect with this, actually, I'm going to go into all of these a little bit further. So I'm just going to kind of go down the list for a moment to show you the energetics of where we're going. So there's the opening ceremony intention. And then oftentimes in these ceremonies, there's prayer, there's gratitude, there's singing, there's a lot of, mantras, really connecting through alchemy, through prayer, through gratitude, through our heart spaces, so that we can transcend into unity and connect to source. And then there's the ability to meet yourself, right? So you ingest the medicine, you're praying, you're in circle, and then suddenly the medicine starts to cause the purge to happen, right? The shadows come up, whether this is your unconscious limiting beliefs that were inherited by this really interesting society that we were born into, white supremacist, lots of trauma, This comes up for us to dismantle within our beings, to release and transcend, to come into more unity, to come into more love. We have ancestral traumas come up, right? There's a lot that we get to meet ourselves in with the medicine ceremony. And also remember, applying this to business, your business has those traumas too that get to come up. And then there's a point that we let it go, right? Like we're feeling it all, we're witnessing it all, where the energy is moving in our system. We're moaning, we're crying, we're puking in a bucket, we're feeling all of the, paralysis or doubt, or I'm not good enough. And then we come into the offering it up, the surrendering to source. We don't have to do it all. This is, we're truly connected to source. There is a higher power working through us, right? And that's ultimately when we come into this surrender, into unity consciousness, into the alchemy. And then lastly, which is so important, is the integration piece. And that's actually something I've had to work on for a long time. The same energetics of me in a medicine ceremony were the same energetics with me and my business, meaning at the end of, I'll just give an example, an ayahuasca ceremony, everyone's going to sleep. The shaman kept saying, rest, go to bed, integrate, relax. I'm like, I want to write 10 emails. I'm so lit with creative energy. Like, let's go. And they're like, no, rest, integrate. And I'm like, more. So that's a distortion. Okay. There's expansion time and there's contraction. There's yin, there's yang. We need to honor this process. And I ended up seeing this happen the same way within my business. I'd go through this whole launch, and instead of allowing myself to integrate, to celebrate, to take some downtime, to digest what happened, I'd be like, okay, more of this, now that, now we got to do this. And it's like, we need that sacred pause of integration. Okay. So with that being said, I'm going to go a little bit further into some more of these, and then we're going to go into our hot seat. So with the opening ceremony that I mentioned, let's see if I can pin this speaker. Can I pin? Okay. So with the opening ceremony, this is how I like to open the portal of what I'm going to be offering. So I like to have an intention first, remember, and then ask permission, ask permission to the universe, ask my guides to show up and help me, ask permission for the land that I'm, living on, ask permission for the temple that I'm living in. If I'm about to do like a yoni clearing or an in-person womb healing where somebody's coming directly to that property. Really tuning in with the energetics of the spirit realm, where I'm at, the energetics of the household, asking permission, asking my ancestors. Shannon, yeah, I will make these available for you. Absolutely. I'll send them out. I like to ask permission and create the intention. That's part of the initial energetics, knowing that it's not all up to me, right? We're a unity. We're like a collective force. It's not all up to me. And also, I like to be, so this is a really good tip for all of you who are birthing something soon. I really love to launch things that are most alive within me and most alive in the collective. I used to get ideas and think that I needed to birth them immediately, which actually caused a lot of burnout. Because I could see it, I thought I needed to create it. But now I wait, I allow myself gestate these ideas in the time that's needed. And I like to tune into what the collective consciousness is going through. So for example, and probably a lot of you can remember this, when I completed one of my last launches, I was so inspired by the launch being a medicine journey for me that randomly, like I went to the beach to digest the launch and I felt called to make an Instagram story. And so as I'm making this Instagram story, I'm just asking, hey, does any other entrepreneurs recognize their launch to be a medicine journey? Can you relate to this? And I put a poll and there was a large amount of people that clicked yes. And then I wrote at the end, like, would you be interested in a masterclass on this? I'm feeling really called to teach one. That was alive for me at the time. But prior to that, I actually never thought I would teach this in that moment. I didn't get on that Instagram video to be like, hey, I'm going to teach this masterclass. It literally came through when I was creating that story. That was the alignment there. And then there was a huge response from people. So it got me thinking like, okay, I'm going to prioritize this. This feels alive for me and it feels alive for other people in real time. Therefore, this is something that's needed for the world right now. So what I did was I actually took a screenshot of everyone who said that they were interested. And then I sent them, because I love to talk to people in the DMs on Instagram. That's just my platform. You know, you might want to use another platform, but that's what I did. And I actually reached out to a lot of those people. Some of them are here on call. And I said, hey, I'm actually thinking of doing this. There was a large response. What would be the main questions that you'd want answered on this masterclass? Like, what are the challenges that you're going through that this could support you in? And I had so many people send me back the most brilliant questions. And I'm like, oh, I could speak to that. Oh yeah, I've got codes on that. So this whole conception happened not just with myself, but with real-time engagement from people. And so then it took some time to actually create the masterclass and have the website design and everything. But once it launched, I reached back out to those people and I offered it to them at the early bird discount. And I thanked them and I said, love to support you here. And then I ended up having lots of signups before I even like birthed it to my newsletter community. And so that is a really awesome model, I feel, to create something and know that you have clear desire and engagement, because that can totally support you from going into doubt. Like, who wants this? Am I even supposed to be doing this? If you know that there are people that are having those direct questions, it fuels you, right? Because now you're answering a real human's question rather than creating something that you think other people need, which, by the way, if you can think about it and you have the desire to create it, it does mean somebody wants it, but it just helps with that funneling of your energy, knowing what your clients are truly seeking and directly speaking to that. So, what's most alive in you, right? What's most alive in the collective? That's in your opening portal, okay? But as you're conceiving this idea. And so then the next thing I will do is I'll do some offerings. I'll go to a sacred portal in nature around my home. I'll create an altar space of prosperity and love, and I'll write a letter to my soulmate clients, a love letter. I'll really take time to create the energetics of sacredness of who I desire to serve and who is coming in, and holding them in that energy and making offerings to the land around me. And lastly, what I'll do is, it's so important to just keep your space organized. If you're about to go through a big launch, I mean, this masterclass was pretty small, but if you're about to do a 3-month online program and you have a lead gen masterclass or something opening up the portal to that, you know that you're going to be deep in this longer medicine journey, right? Like, you know, that might be like a several day experience with plant medicine rather than like a 3-hour like a 2-hour microdose, right? So if you're going to have like a long medicine journey, you really want to make sure that your files are organized on your computer, your desk is organized, you're feeling resourced, you have, you know, meals stocked up and a routine down that you can settle in the morning and night to take care of your body so that you can be this vessel to receive those downloads coming through. So take care of yourself, okay? So then the next one on the list was prayer and gratitude in the medicine ceremony, right? Like, now we've ingested the medicine, we've committed, we created the intention. We're like, all right, I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to birth. Then we start to go into prayer and gratitude. And what I mean by this is, in your launch experience, if you get fixated on the end goal, meaning like, all right, this many clients, this much money, this then you're not leaving room for the mystery to unfold. And the mystery truly brings so much more than what you could have even realized. And oftentimes the mystery comes in other ways. So abundance isn't just money and prosperity. Abundance could be the health of your body as you go through this launch. how many people here have like given a lot and then experienced martyrdom and burnout? And then once they were done offering something, were like shot for days. Has anyone experienced that? That definitely was my history. Okay. Yeah. Natalie is like exclamation point. Kenya, totally. Yeah. Yeah. So I used to launch, drive, push on through, and then the launch would end. I'd be like, oh my God, I need to recover. But now I'm about to teach. So holy fuck, what do I do? So prosperity isn't just about the end goal, okay? It's about the abundance of everything around you, the health of your body, the intimacy in your relationships with your beloved, with your children, with your community, and not letting yourself sacrifice the things around you that you care about for the launch, right? And instead of that martyrdom archetype, I must sacrifice myself in order to, give, in order to create. Instead, know that as you're going through your own metamorphosis journey, everything else is going to also receive those codes of that expansion as well. So be very present with all of the things that are in your foundation. Tend to it, show up for it, because it's going to hold you and you're going to rise and show up more expanded in these relationships. And you'll notice that all of these blessings come to you in other ways to help support you to receive, so that as you go through the launch and you meet your end goals, it's not a this or that. All these blessings get to come through. Maybe you have, a deep sisterhood connection where they really get to see the raw you that you're experiencing in this launch, and have some new relationships that get developed. Maybe instead of shutting down and putting yourself into the next sales call, you show up with your beloved and you have the most deep, passionate sex, lovemaking, transmutation, sex magic you've ever experienced before, because there's so much energy moving through you, right? Or maybe you really, Kenya's like, yeah. Or maybe you really commit to your health habits, and at the end of the launch, you're not depleted with menstrual cycle pain. In fact, you feel more energized, fit, and in love with your body than you've ever felt in your life at the end of the launch. Okay, so there's ways to expand with that energy. We can definitely get stuck into that martyr, like one more sales call, one more client. And when we're in that modality, that mentality, it means that our masculine is on overdrive, okay? And we're not really trusting source. We're not really trusting the surrender. And so it's so important to receive, okay? It's so important to do receiving rituals on a regular basis. Schedule the massage, go to the sisterhood ceremony, go to the kirtan singing that night, especially when you're launching. Allow yourself to receive and show up for all of your support structures, because that will help you in that process. So it's not a this or that, and it'll nourish your inner feminine energy so that you feel juicy, you feel lit, right? Because everything, sales is just a transfer of energy. Okay. And if you're like, I'm committed, I'm showing up, next sales call, and you've got this like tense muscle, tense body, you betcha your potential clients are feeling that. They're feeling the anxiety, the pressure, and the force coming through your system. And it actually blocks their ability to surrender into their own decision. When you show up, feeling alive, that's a contagious transfer of energy. And when somebody feels that, it's a magnetic force that they're like, oh my gosh, I feel this juiciness. Yes, I'm ready for this. What is this energy? Yes, I'm ready for this. So there's a difference. So whenever you find yourself in that, okay, like one more, got to do this, I can't stop, I'm not enough, right? Like we feel like we have to do more in order to get to the end goal. Take a pause. Okay, let it all go, surrender it up, do something that is orgasmic, do something that gives back to you, do something that nourishes your soul. And you'll notice that your parasympathetic nervous system gets activated. So not the fight or flight, like go, go, go. And then suddenly it's like you can receive, your system's like, open, like you're juicy, like, yes to this. And that's where we can truly plug into the quantum realm, right? We can't plug into the infinite consciousness when we're limited in our own expression, feeling like there's only one way. As soon as we let go of those reins and allow ourselves to receive, that's when we can dream bigger. That's when we can feel the pleasure and the possibility of everything that's waiting to come to us. But we can't receive those prayers answered from source, those miracles, if we're trying to control and we're getting in our way. So schedule those massages, eat that delicious food, have that delicious sex, go to your best friend's gathering, be there with your children, play, go to the river, allow yourself to have that in your launch period. It's going to nourish you to help you receive. So prayer and gratitude. The last piece I wanted to say is gratitude. What I like to do during the beginning of a launch too is I'll write a gratitude list of the things that are in my life and how I desire to see those things expand, as well as, you know, the numbers. I do like to create, okay, here's my soft goal of what I want to make. Here's my quantum goal, which I believe I'm capable of and would love to meet. This is the amount of people I would like to serve. I do create those numbers. I'm not attached to them. You know, source knows like what I'm capable of serving at that time. But I also, in addition to that, love to write out, okay, who am I becoming in this launch? How is my health? How are my relationships? How is my prayer? How is my sleep? Like, what does my life look like as I'm expanding in this launch? And so I invite you to write that out. And I was thinking of doing this on call, but we still have the hot seat and we still have the ritual. So is this something you feel like would serve you to take some time to do on call? Or do you want to do this in your own time? You can raise your hand or say something in the chat if you'd like to pause and do this on call. Madara is saying yes. Mallory's saying, oh, okay, so the next person who answers will be the determining factor. Own time. Okay, we're gonna do it on the own time. What I had originally planned is that we would write this out on call, get into that envisionary state, and then share about it in breakout rooms. But I just want to make sure that you all get a moment to do this exercise in your own time, because oftentimes when you do something in a group, then you've received the embodiment of it, the activation, the muscle memory. Because oftentimes when we're in the launch, we can forget these things when we go into that, okay, it's time. I feel the energy. We got to go. So I just want, y'all to receive that. Okay, cool. So the next step after you have, all right, the intention, you've received the medicine, you're in the gratitude, you're starting to like launch, you're reaching out to people, you're excited. Okay, this is great. Like people are excited about my program. Like people are buying. And then suddenly crickets. It gets quiet and you're like, what the fuck is going on? People haven't registered in the last couple of days. I've just had a couple of sales calls and like these people said they'd get back to me and there's been no follow-up. I feel a lot of intensity within my body. Like, I just feel like I'm snapping at my kids. I'm not digesting my food well. Oh my God. Should I not be doing this right now? Am I the worst coach on the planet? I'm not made for marketing. I'm not made for this. What the fuck? Okay, right? Like that comes up. And so this is like the medicine is doing its work. And this is actually the most potent part of the whole journey, okay? The most potent part, because this is when the inner work is being done. This is your breakdown to break through, okay? Like you're essentially in the thick of that cocoon and you're getting ready to hatch. And I want you to remember that too, okay? Because this will come up. And if you make it about you or you let the doubt cause more paralysis, or if you go into the overdrive, like, oh, I gotta do more, then you're blocking a really powerful moment to meet a depth of yourself that you've never met before. Okay. You're going through an initiation. You are becoming something you've never seen before within yourself. You are meeting parts of yourself, new frequencies. It's a total rebirth, alignment, inner activation that's happening. So trust that's what's happening, even when it feels like shit. even when the mind is trying to tell you things that are not so pleasant. Okay. Trust, which is a masterful skill, right? In Tantra, that I've been taught in my trainings, is that there's only the field, and in the field, all perceptions exist. So how can you be in that field where your mind is telling you these stories, and rather than reacting with them, seeing them, witnessing them, and knowing that trust and belief also exists? And that's what you're holding space for. Okay. Even though in reality, it's like a client hasn't signed up in days, so my reality must dictate the truth. No, even though you can't see it, even though your mind's trying to tell you stuff, how can you hold space and anchor in that trust? And we're going to do a ritual to support you in that. But that's essentially you meeting yourself. And in these moments, that's when the ancestral traumas, the limiting beliefs, the even things from, our past, our childhood comes to the surface. If you've ever been rejected, felt rejected by, maybe you had a divorce with your parents when you were young, and then you never saw your father often, and you didn't feel loved by him, or you felt rejected. Or maybe, you were rejected in middle school by your crush, and you finally got the courage to ask him or her out, and then they said no. Or maybe you went through a sisterhood wound and you felt outcasted. All of these things can come up in real time when we're met with I don't know if I'm ready for this. I don't know. It can hit that part within you that triggers you back to something that happened from middle school, from childhood, from infancy. And so by knowing that it's not about the present moment, in fact, the deeper the emotional trigger, it means that there's something in the past, whether it's this lifetime or ancestral, it's coming up to the surface, and you get to transmute that. You get to transmute that. And so what do you do in a medicine ceremony, right? The shit starts coming up. You're puking in the bucket. You're sounding, you're moaning, you're doing breath work, you're breathing deep. You're, feeling the pain in your body, and you're moving it and you're massaging it. You're singing, you're toning. Okay. Like, how do you transmute it in a medicine journey, right? It's the same thing you're going to be doing in the launch as well. And we're going to be doing a ritual together in just a little bit to kind of work with all of these different tools to help you transmute. But if we could distill this to a common denominator, truly what this is meeting yourself with full presence. You can't bypass it, right? And you're like, I'm not good enough. Like, I'm afraid I'm going to be in debt forever. I'm afraid this isn't going to work. I'm afraid that I'm going to be rejected on whatever it is, right? It's like, of course we don't want to believe that. And so you can say, no, I choose to believe I'm an empowered creatrix. I'm going to keep going. But if you have that real trauma in your body that comes up, it's a real somatic experience. Even though you're like, I'm a goddess, I got this. If it's alive in your system, it's still going to be ruling over, because that's the energetic frequency. It's going to be blocking you from really sharing those codes openly. And so you got to go into it. The only way out of it is through it. This is about feeling to heal. Okay. And so the common denominator is bringing your full presence to that space within yourself and meeting it. The little girl within you, I'm not good enough. The part of you that's like, I'm fucking terrified. I put so much energy into this. I'm exhausted. If you can stop judging yourself, stop trying to make it different than what it is. Stop trying to ignore your mess or say that your mess is hindering you. If you can really surrender it, accept it, and go directly into it and feel it, then no longer is it taking up that space within your system. You're not trying to get rid of it. You're trying to go into it. And once you give it the voice, then it can actually transform, because it's been witnessed. It's no longer hidden in the shadows. It's no longer something dark that you're just trying to shove back down, because the body keeps the score. It's never going to lie what you're feeling inside, especially if you're having headaches during your launch. challenges with digestion, emotional eating habits, pain in your neck, tension in your jaw. Okay. This is the physical body speaking, but there is something inside that wants to be felt, wants to be witnessed, and wants to be understood and loved. Your love and your presence with that part of yourself, no longer are you rejecting yourself, okay? This is where the alchemy can start to happen, because now we've surrendered, we've created inner union, and now we can plug in with source, right? We're letting it go, we're meeting ourselves there, and source can guide us. So that's the next step, is to surrender into source, okay? It's not all up to you. When you're in that moment and you've made that presence, that connection with that part of you that feels like it's failed and that it's not good enough, meet that part and then ask your angels, ask your guides, ask the goddess, ask whoever and whatever you call it, that infinite creation material, ask it to support you, ask it to help you. Ask it to illuminate new possibilities and awaken truth within you that you've never even perceived and embodied before. Ask for the help, okay? Call on those guides. It's not all up to you. Yeah, right? And you come to this point in the journey, right? You come into this, like, I've met my shadows. I've, danced it out. I sang it out. I felt it out. I puked it out, or whatever it is that you did. You've met that place of yourself. You did not abandon yourself. You were there with you along the journey. And now you're embodied in that truth, because you're in more of your wholeness, and you can rise from there. Right? And this is so important, because you betcha the clients that are being magnetized to you are having the same challenges that you're going through. And if you go through this portal and move that energy, you can hold the space for them to come through. You can hold them. And they're going to be magnetized to that. They can feel that clearing. They're like, oh, my soul wants that liberation too. We're here to help each other. Okay? We're here to help each other. And so once you've overcome that, that's when it's like, whoa, the epiphanies come through. You've been crying, you've been you've been howling, you've been puking. And now it's like, like, oh my gosh, like, Kenya, I feel this. Yes. You're like, all right, I'm one with source, all the downloads, all the prophecies, all the creative energy. Yes, yes, limitless creation, orgasmic energy, like full enlightenment. Let's go, let's go, let's go. And so from that energy, right, then you get on to the sales call, then you make the Instagram or TikTok post, then you write the email, then you talk to whatever, right? Like, it's from that space, like, that's where we'll guide you into the next step, because it's not the mind needs to figure it out. It's not like, here are the action steps, put the masculine energy to work. It's like, no, now I'm a magnetic force of Shakti creation, dying and being reborn, and this energy is flowing through. And so letting that guide your next step, and letting the masculine funnel the Shakti from that magnetic force that's bursting through you. Okay, so that's how it works. And then give yourself integration all the time, every night. Let yourself rest, let yourself decompress. You don't have to hold it. Let your dream time do the work, give you new ideas. And then once the launch is complete, let yourself go into full celebration, full integration. Go to that beach, lay on the sand, let it all go. Go to that ecstatic dance class, shake it all out. Go out for a celebration with your honey. Like, let yourself fully integrate from the rebirth and the activation you just went through. Okay. So launching as a medicine journey, who is up for this, right? Like, no longer do we need to feel the, I'm not good enough, I'm stuck, there's something wrong with me, no one's buying, so that means like I suck. Like, we all go through this, okay? This is the light worker path. This is the medicine journey of life, of entrepreneurship, and you can go through these steps. And yes, I will absolutely share the PowerPoint. Okay, I'm seeing some. How do we do that if the course begins right after our launch ends? Well, my love, so you're the creatrix here, and you know how much time you need to integrate afterwards, and so you get to set that up. You get to set up your schedule. So perhaps next time you may want the course to start a week or so after. You might want to plan ahead and give yourself some integration time. That's actually something that I had to learn that I could do. I was like, okay, we're going to do this and we're going to start that. And then I was like, I'm here to serve. I'm here to serve. And then finally I realized, I was like, whoa, my self-care and my integration time makes me better at serving, right? So it's like, plan for the yin time. The self-care is part of the business. And so you get to create your schedule, and whatever feels good for you to nourish yourself before you show up to give is so important. We create our schedules, right, babes? That's the exciting thing about entrepreneurship, as well as it can be the confusing thing about entrepreneurship. It's like, we're creating the schedule, but like oftentimes we're like, oh my God, like this is all happening. And sometimes it can be happening. It feels like it can be happening to you, but really you're the one creating it. You're the one who can change it at any moment. If you don't like the way that it's structured, don't get attached and be like, oh, fuck, I fucked up again, and make yourself wrong. Instead, just be like, oh, trial and error. All right, this didn't work out. I'm going to do this next time. This didn't work out. I'll do this differently this way. That's the entrepreneur path, right? We got to be savvy with being the shapeshifter, being able to be fluid. Okay, so I have a couple questions in the hot seat. We're going to take 2 of them. I probably answered, I had a couple more that came through, so I think that answered a lot of them. Donica, such juicy codes. This transmission makes it so much more relatable for me. Thanks, babe. I'm so happy that you said that, because this is literally why I'm sharing this, because I was that light worker, heart open, wanting to give, and like felt so much self-blame. I mean, it's so much about me. I got stuck for years. So that's why I'm here sharing this, is like, I want everyone to know that this is like our biggest empowerment journey. Okay. This is our alchemy journey. Oh, good, Natalie. I'm so happy. Yeah. One of your questions that you sent me was a deep influence on this masterclass. So I want to give some gratitude for your excellent questions. Great. Kenya, so happy to hear. Mahina, you're so motivating. It's my Leo rising. I get kind of passionate. All right. Yeah, Irisha, just, whatever's alive for you from this masterclass, like bring it into your current moment. And at the end of the day, y'all, I'm just a guide. Ultimately, you are your own medicine woman. Take or leave whatever I said that resonates with you or not. Come up with your own ways that feel integrative within your own system. This has just been helpful for me. And so, yeah, at the end of the day, like, you don't have to like do to get so rigid, like follow the flow. Okay. That's a huge thing in business. Whatever is alive in you, like follow the flow, because everything is just energy. If you're like, I have to do this because my coach told me to, I have to do my morning rituals, like first get up and chant, then do this. Then it's like, you don't fucking feel alive. You feel constricted. Like, do what opens you, do what makes you feel magnetic and alive. Okay. Always follow the flow of energy first within you and your relationship to source. Okay, so we're going to take some hot seats and then we're going to go into the ritual. So, and we'll probably go 15 minutes over time, maybe a little bit longer. I hope that's okay. All right, so the first question is from Mahina. Excuse me. And Mahina, I'm just going to read what you shared with me, and I'm going to bring you out to the floor as well. So if you want to expand upon it, you're welcome to. But your question was how to build the confidence to charge more, and getting out of the ego, feeling that like it's not worth it, or I'm not worth it, and coming from the heart when you are creating your pricing. So I'm going to bring you up to the floor, and if you have anything you want to elaborate on, yeah, let me know, beauty. Hi.
Okay, hi, Allie. First, I just want to say I'm sorry. I have a really bad cold, so I keep moving around, and I'm sorry that that's distracting. But yes, oh my God, thank you so much. Definitely. All your talk, I think you answered a lot of it too, just how you have to go through it and get freaked out about not charging, and then all of a sudden you do and you trust. But the feeling of worthiness, I think that was the big question. Like, how can we be this huge, multi-dimensional and rich?
Yeah, totally. This is really great. The worthiness piece is so big, especially when you're creating your price structure and even up leveling in the price structure. And the first thing that I want to share is the worthiness piece and our own money beliefs can sabotage our experience on our sales calls or talking to people, because the truth is we don't know what that person's money beliefs are. And if we're communicating a price and we're feeling all of our own money story on them and we're lowering our prices thinking that they can't afford it, or that we're actually like, we're putting our own beliefs clouding that story with that person when that might not even be their reality. And so it's really interesting how we can do that. And so what I'll say about pricing is that I never like to tell somebody what to charge. The thing is with charging is that it has to be an embodiment. That number has to land within your system. And also with that mentality too, if that number is something very comfortable for you, I also invite people to meet their next edge with that number. Because oftentimes we're like, oh, okay, I could charge this. But if it's too low, it's interesting. People actually won't buy if it's too low because it's not worthy of that time that you're really giving. And although you're like, oh, but it's so low, it's such a small price. It's like, people won't actually buy it. I found that sometimes when I've lowered my prices in the past, people were like, oh, I can't do it. I'm like, what? And then in the future, when I actually charged the energy, I'm like, okay, this is the value of my time, what I'm here to give, the presence, the everything, right? It was like an embodiment. And I really held that frequency. People matched that. And it felt so much more juicy and activating in my being than trying to like get a bargain or something and lower what it is that I had as a sacred offering, because I thought that they'd be actually able to do it. I was scared that they wouldn't be able to meet it. So I lowered it and then they didn't buy it. So why I'm telling that story is because we can get into these weird little money things when we're offering something to someone. But just as you would go through this medicine journey with your launch, go whenever you're raising your prices or coming up with those numbers, take the time to go through a journey and an activation around it. Like, get clear with what you think the numbers want to be. Take it to the beach, dance it out to the ocean, talk to God, like let it move through you. And then land on it within your body. Your nervous system has to feel okay with that number when you're communicating it. Because if you can hold that frequency and you're like, yeah, it's this much money, and you know within your whole vessel that it's this much money, then others can actually receive that without all the distortion of like, what are they going to think? Should I lower it? That's just distortion of energy. It's distortion of frequency, blocking your ability to receive and for them to actually receive the quality of what you're here to offer, right? Like they want to receive your best self. They want to receive the high end, like the Mahina bringing the full. And so let yourself hold that within you and let them receive it. Let yourself receive them. It's a sacred energy exchange. It's a frequency exchange. So is that helpful? Do you have any more questions along that?
No, that's fantastic. Thank you so much. I feel like it for me, I think it's just this online, because I've done, I have a jewelry shop and I've done sales personally for 25 years, and going online, it's like this other world. So I'm trying to like put it together and be like, no, there is the clientele out there that I have no idea that they are unlimited. Like there's unlimited amounts. So I just have to, like you said, upgrade, up level, up glow.
I love it.
More.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ellie.
Beautiful. Yeah. If you're feeling like you're supposed to charge more, trust that. And yes, there's an unlimited amount of people we can reach. And there's those soulmate clients not everybody is for us. So even when, you know, you have something and you're clear on your pricing and it's like, that's what it is. If somebody is a no, don't make it about you. They might just not be ready at that time, or they might not be the person to receive that medicine. But the less we make it about ourselves and like go through that rejection, we just like, okay, here's what it is. That allows that energy to be available for the next person to be like, oh yeah, I'm a magnet to that, right? So trust the client is coming who can meet you in what you're offering. Yay! I'm so happy to hear that that's helpful for you. Okay, so the next question we have is from Donica. So I see you're on call. I'm just gonna add you here with me. Hi, beauty. Good to see you. Yeah, and Donica was asking, so I'm just gonna read what you asked and then you can elaborate on it. How do you hold a focus in your business while being multi-passionate and multi-interested? How does one anchor all the facets in so the message and offering still feel coherent? And I love that you asked this because that's been like part of my entrepreneur path, being a shoctified creatrix wearing many, many different hats and having big ambitious goals. So is there anything you want to elaborate on that, or do you feel that you're content with that question?
Yeah, I guess I'll just elaborate saying that from my experience, I felt blocked, like trying to offer different things, like being a chef and then being a health coach and then being about food and then being about energy healing and then like all these different things that I do. And it feels like the reactions that I get from people are like, it felt like it's hard for them to process that, like, now I'm doing something else and like people still think I'm doing something that I was doing years ago. Like refer me for that, but I'm like, I'm not even really doing that anymore. So yeah, I'm just like, is that a mirroring of a block within me, or is it just, yeah, I'm just haven't figured out like what that's about. But I've recognized that like you seem to do that really well, like holding a lot of different facets, and it all fits under this umbrella of modern goddess lifestyle. But yeah. So.
Yeah, thank you. I'm hearing a couple things in your question that I'd like to speak to. The first thing I just want to speak is to give yourself permission to be fluid in what's most alive in you, while still tending to the things that you've already birthed, right? There's a delicate balance. So for me, oh gosh, it was like I was a raw food chef, then hormone balanced chef, then red tent facilitator, tantrika womb activator, leadership academy, into like the journey. And now I'm doing like some business coaching too, right? So it's like the journey of what I've done is a lot different than the structure I was like programmed with, in the way that I grew up with my family and their systems. Like, okay, you go to college, you get a teaching degree, or you become a lawyer or whatever, like get on the path, master it, and then retire, be done. And I'm like, I'm a mystic, I'm a tantrika, I'm a priestess, I'm a health coach, like I'm all of it, right? Like, how do you define the soul? Like, we're everything and we're nothing. And so I've allowed myself to be fluid in those transitions, while at the same time knowing that if I've created something, like I'm not just going to abandon it. I've always tended, to completing projects that I started birthing. And then if I needed to like put it on pause and let it go dormant, I would, because it's important, I believe, to follow what's most alive for you. Because if you're working on something and you think that you have to stay in that model because that's what people know you as, and you're feeling dead inside, and it's like every day you show up and you're just like, okay, I got to do this because this is who I am, but this is what I really want to do, but I have to, it's like, that's a sticky energy and people are going to feel that, right? When you give yourself permission to be fluid and explore what really lights you the fuck up, that energy is magnetic. Other people are going to feel that, and they're going to feel the alive life force and gravitate towards it because you're excited about it. If you're excited about it, they're going to be excited about it. But it doesn't mean that you have to fully abandon what you've done before. And in fact, like, I still have all the files of like my hormone balancing stuff. And I'm not saying forever I won't chef again. Like, you know, I know that there's cycles and seasons throughout the life. These are well-mastered skills that still come up in coaching clients. I have a broader perspective now if they're going through like a sexual health challenge, and then like they say something and I'm like, oh, well, then I bring out this hormonal science piece and they're like, oh, so I believe that it like supports us, you know, to be fluid and allow ourselves permission to explore all these archetypes while still maintaining the structure in the best way we can. And then lastly, the part that I heard that you were speaking to is like, okay, I've shown up this way for a long time. Don't people see me as this and expect me to be this? And how I can speak to that is like, there's definitely an interesting experience when you go off to a retreat, you have a transformation, you go off to another country for like half a year or a year, and you like literally rebirth. And then you go back and you're with friends, or you go back to childhood friends, or you go back to your family, and they all see you as like the old Allie or the old Donica, the child Donica, or like the health mentor in this way. It is a frequency that they're holding you at that can feel confusing. And it can even like block sometimes your ability to speak to them in your new native language, the like how you've been communicating and how you've been vibrationally acting with who you've just been with, right? And so that's where the inner work, I think, is so powerful, knowing that this inner frequency lives inside you. So more so than ever, dedicate to your practices, ignite that energy, let it rise through you, and share yourself from that space. Give them an opportunity with your deep embodiment to learn the new you, knowing that we don't have to shift back into who we were just to become relatable. We can meet them, you know, in common communication, but give them opportunities to see the you, the you that's emerged by being fully embodied and anchored in it. And so oftentimes that's why I bring my Hape medicine back to my family in Michigan, is like they're seeing me as like Allie, the rebel who went to festivals and failed career development. Y'all, I've been telling this story a lot lately. I literally failed career development in college. I just didn't go to it enough, but it's like I developed my own career and I help others like develop their own careers. So anyways, like, you know, definitely that like energetic frequency of how people are seeing you can feel uncomfortable, but it's like, you know thyself. This is a deep opportunity to embody even more of the truth that you are and share that person with those around you. And so let that come out into your business, create that magnetic Shaktified force within you as you show up online. Be alive in who you are. Make a new post like, hey, this is who most of you know me as. This is what I'm now doing. These are the new codes that I have for you. I'm so excited to support you in this and this and this. Own it, share it. If it's alive in you, it's going to be supportive for them. Is this helpful? Is there any other questions you have around this?
Yeah, no, that's super helpful. Yeah, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you and Irisha's actually like expanding on this. You know, I face the challenge telling people what I do. Yeah, and I definitely shape shift the way that I describe who I am when I'm like meeting somebody for the first time, when I'm in like the Muggle world. Because, you know, language is such a huge thing. To be able to communicate to somebody what you do in a way that they can like receive it is, I feel like, a well-mastered skill. And beyond communication, beyond words, beyond anything that's spoken, it's a frequency. If you have those codes within and you're embodied in it, people feel it regardless of like what you tell them you do or not. So really it's about the frequency. And then there was one more thing that came up and I've lost it a little bit. How do you deal with people ask what I do for a living? The challenge. Yeah, I lost the last thing I was gonna say, but yeah, y'all, like I've done some pretty radical things with my I come from a lot of like lawyers, businessmen, doctors in my childhood upbringing. And I will tell you, there is one day that I was like so deep in the rituals with my menstrual blood. I was healing my womb. I was covering my face with my blood, drinking it, like doing the most like witchy shit, like really like coming to know myself and this powerful creation of death and rebirth within me. And I even told my childhood bestie's father, who's very Western minded, very like, show me the science in all the double blind studies and then I'll believe it. That's how, like, that's the way he believes in life. And I don't know how we ended up having this conversation, but we got into such a space of like connection and resonancy. And he was like debating me and but we were like, the energy was so lit that I ended up telling him all about my menstrual blood ceremonies. And then finally, after like questioning me, which I actually entertained it, I was like fully just like, yep, here's who I am. Yep, because I was embodied in it. And finally at the end, he goes, you know what, Allie, I don't get it. I don't understand it. I probably never would, but I trust my wife. If she came up to me and said, Mike, here's my blood, receive this in sacrament with me. He's like, I would. So whatever you're saying, I don't get it, but I trust you and I know it's working for you. And he's like, and if my wife offered it to me, I would say yes. So unfortunately his wife she was in a massive car accident. So it's like, she's not all there right now. So that's like really unfortunate. But yeah, the fact that it's like a frequency, right? I was embodied in it. The fact that a doctor, very Western minded, like not into woo woo at all, was like challenging me. And I'm just like, okay, here's my life. And then like receive that. It's like frequency is everything, y'all. Okay. So we're going to be moving into our ritual, and I'm going to give us a little pause so that you can use the bathroom, grab some water if you'd like. But first I'm going to share what I want for us to prepare for. And yeah, so we're going to do a ritual of our own metamorphosis. And you know, maybe you are really activated in some self-doubt and some stuff, like bring that here. And if not, just let yourself surrender into this and know that this is a template that you can use and expand on it in your own way during your launch and marketing experience when you've like hit that point that you're like, it's dense, I'm constricted, I'm tense, like no one's signing up, I'm doubting myself, I suck, you know, whatever it is that you go through that the mind is trying to tell you. This is a ritual that you can do. So what I'm going to invite you to prepare for this ritual is to get like a sheepskin wool rug or a soft blanket or something that you can be on the ground and like be on all fours in, and also dance with or dance upon. If you want to grab a candle and like light it, make it ceremonial, I'm going to invite you to do that. And I'm going to be guiding us through like a breathwork practice too. So if you want to put on like headphones so you can hear me, you're welcome to do that as well. But this is going to include essentially meeting that part of you that's constricted, bringing your full presence there. And then we're going to move through it with breath, sound, movement. Like you can do light language, you can sound, tone, dance. We're going to be shaking. We're going to be doing some deep, sensual, sacred touch. I'm going to invite you to turn your video off if you know that you want to touch your body and like really love on it. So much scarcity and doubt gets locked up in our root. So we're going to be pressing upon our perineum, which is the place between our vulva, the entrance to our vagina, and the root, the anus. There's a little place in between that I'm going to invite you to tap and just like, you know, press upon to release some of the stagnant energy if you've been experiencing scarcity. And so, yeah, it's going to get intimate. And if you want your video off, you can keep it off. There's no pressure in having it on. And if you, yeah, let's see. Yeah. Yeah. So just feel free, like you can take up space, right? Like, I just want you to feel like you can take up space and that this is a ceremony. So we're going to take a brief break. So you can use the bathroom, get some water, set up your space, and we'll be back here in just several minutes. So does anyone have any questions about the ritual before we begin? All right, cool. Okay, so I'm just gonna pause this for a moment. How long do you think it'll be? I would say the ritual will be probably about 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes. Yeah. And there really isn't like a time we can put on ritual. So like when you do this in your own time, don't give yourself a time, like go through the whole activation until it's moved through. That's the best thing with ceremony and ritual, right? Because like if we're in the masculine structure, like I'm going to do this, like the candle purge, it doesn't work like that, right? Like you got to surrender and let it unfold as it unfolds, let the medicine do its job in the amount of time that it's desiring to, take up. So it's how we plug into the quantum. We can literally travel lifetimes in one journey. Okay, so I'm going to pause this for a moment, let y'all do your water in, water out.
all the goddesses back to the ceremony. Let me know if you're on call, if you're planning on having your video off, so I know that you're back. Type in the chat box. Okay, great. Great. Okay, my loves. So the reason why I asked you all to have a place that you're going to do this ritual in that feels sacred to you is it's really important to feel resourced in the times where a lot is coming up, the overwhelm, the doubt, the scarcity. Oftentimes we can feel like we don't have safety, right? The nervous system is triggered. The things from the past that happened that weren't so safe, that were intense, they come back up in the now emotionally, energetically. So it's so important for you to have a place that you can go to that feels safe, that you can access the divine, higher wisdom. So I have a Shakti nook in my house. That's what it's called. There's an altar space, a sheepskin wool rug. I do my meditation there. I pray, I cry. It is my place of transmutation. It's where I go when I'm lost. I also like to go out into nature as well. Nature is the most exquisite altar. So I invite you to create that place for yourself during your launch, knowing that it's your go-to. Okay, so that place can hold you and the wild feminine that is about to go through it. Feel it to heal. Yeah. And so when we are feeling unsafe, the nervous system can feel activated in the sympathetic, which again is fight or flight, or we can go into that freeze response. So if you notice that's happening, if you notice you start to go into it, I invite you to come into ritual with yourself like the one that we're going to be doing today. We're going to be starting with meeting that depth of ourself, acknowledging and accepting that there's those voices that we're hearing that tell us that we're not good enough, that we failed, that we need to do more in order to be enough. We're going to meet that and allow it to speak. And then we're going to be going into a nervous system soothing breath work that brings in deep relaxation. And from there, in that process itself, we're going to be activating the womb energies, the womb space energies into the heart space, which the womb is the source of unlimited creation potential. And the heart space is the infinite expansion, unconditional, limitless love. So we want to bring your creation energy, the reason why you're serving, all the way up into the heart so that you're expanded from this space and have those two energies aligned. And we're going to do that with the breath work. And then from there, we'll go into some movement practice and dancing and alchemy. And so I'll guide you through that as we get to it. But for now, how I'd like for us to start is just to find yourself in a comfortable seated position or lay on the ground. You may even desire to go into a fetal position and imagine yourself in the chrysalis in a cocoon. So whatever feels good to you, I invite you to do that. And just taking some deep inhales and deep exhales. And though as I'm going to be guiding you, as I'm speaking, I invite you to slow down And bring yourself really deep into your own vessel, your own body, your communication and connection to source and what that means for you. Imagining all that expanded energy of giving, of being in service, contracting, all that energy now going inward and giving to yourself. Like the amazing mother, coach, space holder, healer that you are, how you serve so many others. I invite you to take that same energy and turn it inward into your cocoon. Gathering up all the energy. And as you feel that energetic shift from expanding into contracting, I invite you to presence several limiting illusional beliefs. What is the illusion lately that you have been believing? Maybe you're in paralysis. Maybe you've been doubting yourself and it's so intense. Maybe you've been feeling scarcity, that you're not going to be paying your bills, that you're in debt, that it's swallowing you. Whatever you can't stomach, whatever you've been avoiding, whatever is creating numbness, pain, or challenge, tense energy, I invite you to go into it with the most motherly love, full acceptance. Can you bring that energy all the way into yourself? Just see what you are feeling and know that it is okay. I'm going to give you all a few moments to play with this. I can't do it for you. This is about you witnessing yourself, the depth of yourself that does not want to be abandoned any longer. And let yourself feel it. Maybe your body is starting to hurt. Maybe your shoulders are tensing up. Maybe you're getting queasy, or maybe you even feel like you're shutting down a little bit, getting unconscious. I invite you to stick with that feeling. Let yourself magnify that feeling for a moment. If your shoulders are in pain, let them talk. Don't avoid it. Don't bypass it. Let your body speak. Beautiful. It's so hard to feel it sometimes, but it's okay to feel it. You're human. And ultimately, if you meet it, no longer will it persist because it's had a voice. It's been acknowledged. And then I invite you to imagine a golden light, a spider web of golden creatrix energy blanketing you and holding you from the top and the bottom. Just offering it up to source, to God, to spirit, offering it up to a higher power, calling in your guides. Taking a deep inhale and big exhale, releasing the holding, releasing the aloneness. Offer it up and ask Spirit to support you in the miracles and the ways in which you do not know how. So now we're gonna start our breath work journey. You don't have to think about the intensity you're feeling anymore. You've met it, you've offered it to source, and now it's time to start gently moving the energy. And how we're gonna be doing this breath work is you're gonna take an inhale with 4 seconds. So it looks like you're gonna inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you're gonna hold it for 7 seconds. Hold 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then you're gonna exhale very slow for 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Beautiful. Pause at the exhale. Just emptying out completely. And then we're gonna start this sequence again. 4 seconds on your inhale. 7 seconds, you will hold it. 8 seconds, you will exhale slowly and pause at the end. So we're gonna do 2 rounds together, and then I'm gonna let you do this on your own timing so you can feel your own body's flow. All right. So all together, feeling into our wombs, our womb space. And you're gonna inhale for 4 into the womb, rising that energy into the heart. 3, 4, hold it for 7 at the heart space. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale that energy down from the heart, cleansing down to the womb. And then holding it on the exhale for a moment, pausing. Now breathing back into the womb for 4, inhaling it up into the heart. 2, 3, 4. Holding your breath at the heart. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhaling slowly the heart down to the womb. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Pause, empty out. Feel your womb surrender. Time to build again. Inhale for 4 at the womb to the heart. 2, 3, 4. Hold at the heart. Expand the heart. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And exhale from the heart to the womb. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Empty out. And now at your own speed, your own flow. 4, inhale from the womb to the heart. Hold for 7 at the heart. And exhale from the heart to the womb for 8. Have the rest of the song to do the
my lover, the earth takes care of me. The earth is my lover. She respects my sovereignty.
Now continue the breath sequence if it feels good for you. We're going to start to add some slow, subtle movements into this. Some sacred touch, some deep intimacy with yourself. And so what this could look like is maybe you start to slowly spiral your hips as you breathe into your womb. Maybe gently opening up the chest, moving it forward and back. Maybe starting to caress your breasts, feeling your hands over your heart space, tickling your skin. Massaging your belly. And bringing your hands down to your womb. Feeling the power underneath you, your creation potential, your womb space, whether you have a womb or not, the energy of creation resides here. I invite you to inhale and exhale and do what organically feels good to you. It's not about anyone else in this moment except your connection to your body and its infinite potential of source creation when you expand in pleasure. Treating yourself like a goddess. So I invite you now, just any last residues of scarcity or fear. Time to let that shit move through your temple. Those frequencies that are locked, those stories that tell you that you can't. It's time to move it, okay? So if you're ready for that, I invite you to locate the place at the bottom of your vulva between your anus and your yoni lips. It's a soft, sensitive space called your perineum. I invite you to start applying pressure there, tapping it in whatever way that feels good to you. Maybe you feel tense at your anus. You're welcome to touch that space too. Just bring your awareness down to the tips of your body, tapping it, massaging it, applying pressure. Just moving the energy. Taking deep inhales and exhales all the while. Maybe you want to start shaking your body too as you tap the space to help that energy current that's being unlocked move throughout your body, shaking your head, shaking your shoulders. Just letting it move, babe. You don't have to carry this. Whew. Beautiful. I invite you to imagine anything that's releasing it, offer it up to source with your love. Part of dark magic is when we banish things with hatred. Whatever is the alignment of energy, just allow it to go back to source with your love, guiding it. Thank you, but you don't serve me any longer. Go back to source. So now I invite you to start moving more rigorous, really shaking your lower pelvis, shaking up that Shakti, that Kundalini activation from your roots, rising up into your womb. And in fact, I'm going to invite you to start rising from your cocoon with all this energy charging and come onto all fours. We're going to start to dance, get some dance activation medicine going. So as you make yourself to all fours, I invite you to continue that shaking activation. Allowing your root to move. Imagine all that scarcity, all that doubt starting to alchemize into movement, into energy, into aliveness. Continue to shake and let your body really go there. Start to let it jiggle, let it take its own movement, its own shaking. Let your body do the shaking, not the mind. How deep can you get into it? Can you sound? Can you open your throat? Can you let light language come through? Shaking it all out. Let your whole body surrender into this. No. Deep inhales, big exhales. Letting that energy shake from root to womb. With your awareness into your belly, feeling your solar plexus now be illuminated, activated with this currency, the sacred, prosperous currency of your life force, your aliveness with source. Swirling it in your belly. You may even want to come up onto your knees. With your hands, guide that energy to your root, to your belly, with your inner leadership, your power, and bring that medicine up to the heart, spreading that energy from root all the way up to exhaling, letting that kundalini rise. You want to keep shaking your root to generate more of that energy. Imagine your heart, this infinite well of love, giving from the heart, selfless service, moving your chest, allowing your spine, fluid, and as you start to really activate the heart, maybe even tapping it a little bit, I want you to imagine butterfly wings. I want you to imagine butterfly wings growing out from your heart, letting those wings there. You don't have to hold this. Letting your butterfly wings take flight, your angel wings. Swirling your body, shaking, sounding, anything that you need in order to let those wings blossom and grow on their own accord. Rise, butterfly. May you emerge from your cocoon. May you stand up. Let yourself rise to your feet, heart open, ready to serve. Shoulders relaxed, hands open, palms reaching up to the heavens. Sounding it out with your throat, letting your heart energy move all the way to your throat. Sinte on shuki and light, rising up to the third eye, awakening your inner knowing, your medicine woman. It is time to rise from the muck. It is time to be the lotus flower. And all the way to the crown of your head, imagine this lotus flower blooming, reaching up to the heavens. And as it connects to the highest frequency of source light and love, it blossoms, it blooms. And you feel yourself taking flight in your own freedom. Opening your palms, fully surrendering, deep inhale, deep exhale, cleansing breath, washing over your whole being, your whole body. This is your last dance, my loves. Light mana pouring through the heavens. I invite you to do a dance of self-love, a dance of gratitude, a dance of acceptance, a dance of expansion, whatever you are calling in, whatever frequency that you desire to embody. I invite you to embrace it and dance one last dance. Feeling all of this energy flowing, and allow it to ground down into your hands, how you live, down to your feet, into your root structure. And I invite you to slowly slowly make your way back down to the ground, but in Shavasana, on your back, arms fully open, and have a few moments here just receiving purely from source, activating your divine mission, helping you with this initiation that you're going through, just letting yourself fully receive in the stillness, in the sweet, sweet surrender. Rise, 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 butterfly. Rise from your cocoon, your slumber. Feeling your heart open. Feeling yourself rooted. Feeling yourself aligned and ready to serve with all those downloads coming through. Taking a collective inhale together and a big exhale. Feeling proud of yourself for showing up today, feeling all the medicine, all the codes, and all that you have embodied. We don't have to remember this at a mental level. All of this is now part of you as you continue on your journey in entrepreneurship as a medicine journey. I'm curious how everyone's feeling. Does anyone want to share anything? Anyone have anything to express? Any like downloads coming through? Kenya? I think you're joining in on sound on your phone, probably. Cool.
Okay, now can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That was so beautiful. Thank you very much for that. I came back to California just for a few days to wrap up some business, and it's just been like a day of going and doing things, right? It's been very beautiful. And I was just like, I need to slow down. I need to cut the day and be able to rest. And just like immediately in the very beginning, whatever you told us to do, I just instantly, my whole energy totally went back into the feminine. I instantly started crying and just was like, oh, I'm here, I'm in ceremony, like I'm present for this, and I can make an energy shift in literally less than a second. And so that's never happened before. um yeah, and just through the whole thing there were definitely downloads, definitely like different fears or unknowns, just like letting myself dance with that, and really seeing that spider web that really helped a lot, and just sending everything up the web into the universe, and just like, oh yeah, of course y'all have it, like you have everything. So thank you.
Oh my gosh, Kenya, thank you for sharing. Yeah, my love. It's like these things that can weigh on us just get more and more intense, but it can be so simple. Like you said, it's an immediate like presence. Here it is. Okay, there it is. Transmute, right? It's like that's when we can actually shape shift, is when we let ourselves like fully embody what we're feeling, feel it, and then it moves on through. So I love that you felt that. That is incredible. Beautiful. Diana's saying, I've got new codes tantalizing my pineal gland right now. Divine. Yeah. Okay. Any last shares?
Hi.
Hey,
Hi,
Mahina.
mamas. That was beautiful. I could feel the whole universe open. It's so hard to be calm. And like she said, we're so distracted. But then as soon as you said, be safe, you are safe, even by taking your camera off and being authentic with yourself. And I had tears and happiness of, okay, you can be you and just touch yourself and feel like you are nourished through the universal womb. And it was so, so, so climactic and incredibly moving my whole soul. I could feel dancing in the codes of the whole universal grid of the divine feminine and what she is capable of. And we haven't even tapped a fingernail of her power. And as we danced this in, I could just see us all dancing together. And I was laughing because I'm like, oh my gosh, I would love if I do a course and I'm dancing on the TV, or I'm on dancing. My kids are gonna see it. They're gonna be like, Mom, what are you doing? And then I'm like, no, they're not. Who cares? It's okay. It's a beautiful thing. And I just thank you, Ali, for always bringing me out of my shell in such a great way. I love you so much. Thank you for this amazing class. I look forward for the next one.
Oh,
And nice to
Mahina.
meet all of you too.
So beautiful. Yay, my loves. So I'm actually going to be needing to hop off here, as I know we went over time. Irisha, I just want to point out, said I saw my old self, the one who was feeling always small, shed away like another skin, and I rose with my army of dragons, fully embodying my role as so powerful, love. There's definitely collective priestess trauma from lifetimes of temples, being betrayed and outcasting happens. That's a real thing that we meet when that title comes on through. So honoring you in that. And yeah, my loves, each and every one of you, this was such a powerful experience. I just, like I said, I know a lot of you personally. I've served a lot of you in person or online, and just what you're doing blows me away. The amount of growth I've seen from all of you is just incredible. And for everyone that I don't know very well, I'm excited to you and supporting you and watching you shine, because we really all are in this together. We really are all in this together. And so mahala keakua to the ancestors of this land where I am at right now, in the sacred land of Kauai, thanking my guides, for everyone who came here today to activate this portal. May we release any attachments as to what's going to manifest, and just surrender to the divine. This or something better. This or something better. And to close, y'all, I have a invite for all of you that I want to share, a special offering. I'm actually going to do another masterclass, and I've never led this online by itself before. I've always taught it in Juicy Feminine Leadership Online Academy. That's my private academy. But there's been such a deep pull I've been feeling for a year to guide on this. So I'm going to share with you one more opportunity that you can join in next month. That's going to be a single solo masterclass, and that's called My Power, My Pleasure, My Power. And this is actually a yoni ceremony. So much about where our blocks come from is once it's in the body, it needs to be met there. And being able to work through blocks within our creation portal, our womb, and even in our yoni, if there's pain, numbness when we make love, or challenges with lubrication, there can be unresolved trauma from past experiences we've had with lovers, from our youth, and even in previous lifetimes, or also culturally or societal religious programming that tells us things about our sexuality that isn't in alignment with our full truth. And these blocks can cause there to be stuck energy. And so in my tantric training, I've learned this methodology called yoni clearing, yoni mapping, and recoding, where you can work with your fingers or a wand to meet the places inside your yoni, like trigger point therapy, that have pain, that have tension, and use the practices that we've used today, sound, movement, pressure, alchemy, to transmute that. And when your yoni is clear and that energy is flowing, that's your creation energy. And so this is one of my favorite things I teach in Juicy Feminine Leadership Academy. I've never taught this as a single masterclass. I probably won't do this often, but I am offering it next month on February 8th. And so I'm inviting all of you into it. For de-armoring, recoding, if you don't have a wand, I have a special link, you can get it. And I'm offering it at 10% off to everyone for like an early bird special. But for anyone who's been on this call, I'm offering it at 20% off. And the class is $222. So you get 20% off of that. And that will be applicable for 48 hours. So it'll end on the 15th. And that's the code. So I'm going to email this all out to you if you're interested in going deeper and learning about your relationship to your womb. I'm going to post the link here. Yeah, it's called My Pleasure, My Power. And this is going to be so sacred, so intimate. I know a lot of you have experienced this work with me, either in person, one-on-one, in a group, or online. But for those of you who've never experienced this and are like, oh my God, that's so intimidating to like really be with my body with a group of people I don't know that very well in an online space. The way I lead these is I make it so safe. You get to have your video off, you participate on a comfortable level. You never have to go as deep if you don't feel comfortable. And the reality is that back in ancient Egypt, it was said that sisters passed down these practices as a sacred rite. And that's been lost, that's been distorted. And the sisterhood wound is something that's happened. At the end of these ceremonies that I guide, I'm told that it helped heal the sisterhood wound. It helped brought everyone closer together. There's a famous story in Womb Awakening where women actually birthed all together collectively on the island of Ixchel, which is Cozumel, and off of the coast of Mexico. So we're meant to do these practices of birthing collectively together. This magic at some point in history was distorted, and now we're all isolated and we're confused, and we learn about our sexuality when we're young in Cosmopolitan magazine and with our peers who are drunk at a party. And so to really claim back the sensual sacredness, the innocence of this, and clear that residue, clear the womb, clear the yoni, so that you can truly expand in your creation potential. It's one of my most delicious gifts. So if you have more questions about that, you can reach out to me later. And I just wanted to share that as my next offering coming up, because I've just been inspired to do master classes at the start of this year. I normally don't do like master classes like this. Usually my offerings are one-on-one containers or group programs. So this has been fun for me. And I hope all of you got a lot of benefits out of this. Keep me posted. Tag me on Instagram. Let me see what you're up to. This has just been such a treat. So honoring each and every one of you, blessing your soul. Thank you so much. Yay! So I'm going to ask that we all unmute ourselves, saying goodbye.
Bye, Allie. We love you. Love you, Allie.
Thank you, Allie.
See you soon.
Thank you,
Okay.
Allie. You're the best. Bye.
All right, take care, my love.
Allie.